All right, ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Football is in the books. The Chiefs stay undefeated as they win an overtime thriller against Baker Mayfield and the feisty Bucs. Questionable calls at the end of the game are the plague that ends up letting the Chiefs walk out with a victory to keep their winning streak in the 2024 NFL season going. They move to 8-0. Bucs fall to a game under 500. They're now 4-5 after their strong start. It all started to unravel when they lost to the Falcons on Thursday night. Ironically, in another overtime game, they fought this one hard. And you got to give them all the credit. They go down at the end of the game, get a touchdown, choose to kick it to go into overtime, and we'll get into it. But we know how overtime with Pat Mahomes is. So we're going to dive into it and just see how the season looks for both these teams coming up. Outside of that, guys, like and subscribe. Comment down below. Did your favorite team win this weekend? Maybe they had a bye. Maybe they're going to make some moves. Maybe they're going to be sellers. Maybe they're going to be buyers. So let me know what you're looking forward to seeing out of your team before the trade deadline and how you feel like they've been doing throughout the first half of the season, because next week we're in double-digit weeks already. It's week 9, just concluded. Week 10, man, it's depressing and exciting because now we got even more meaningful football coming up, but meaningful football means that the season's getting older, and we don't like that. We do and we don't. It's a double-edged sword, but we're prepared to stand here and swing it. So, yeah. Anyways, got a little sidetracked there. So, yeah, what we were talking about. Bucs come up short against the Chiefs, and final score of 30-24. You know, first quarter, Bucs come out. You could tell they're not going to let this one go easily into the night. Baker Mayfield, anytime he steps on the field, especially with that Bucs jersey on, there's a level of feistiness that he brings to his team. A lot of the time, you see a team takes on the identity of their head coach. Well, this team takes on the identity of Baker Mayfield. And this guy's a competitor. And it's a shame that we've seen Chris Godwin go down for the season, and now Mike Evans as well for a little bit. Jalen McMillan was out as well. This team has some pieces. Jamel Dean at corner, he's out. They've kind of been ravaged by injuries. And I feel like this year has been a tough year for injuries. It honestly, as medical advancements get further and, you know, these helmets get safer, seems like the injury rate is going up, and I'm not sure if it's a off the field thing, like these teams aren't taking preparation as safe, or maybe they're just lackadaisical in practice, so when they get to the game, it's a physicality level that they can't really adjust to, or if it's just shitty luck. These guys are bigger, stronger, and faster, and it leads to more injuries. So it's probably the latter, but still a bummer, because as a business, the NFL, you want them to have their best product on the field, and the Bucs past couple weeks just haven't been able to. But despite all of that, they hang in with the undefeated Chiefs in Arrowhead, and second half, ton of rain. I mean, it really, fourth quarter is when it started. Some sprinkles started coming down, and then it started moving. And coming out into the second half, you know, Chiefs were up 10-7. Bucs make a big play to kind of curve the momentum a little bit going into the half, because the Chiefs were going down. They're probably going to get at least a field goal, but Tyke Smith, which underrated, draft pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, safety out of Georgia. He's been a playmaker all year. Big time tackles, forcing turnovers, and, you know, nice little compliment to Antoine Winfield Jr., who last year All-Pro, you know, perennial Pro Bowl player. So now they got the back end short up. The thing with this Bucs team is Todd Bowles is a defensive genius, right? But their defense has been so bad this year, and their run defense especially, which is surprising because you got Vita Vea, the man-eater himself, in the middle of that defense, probably the strongest guy in the league. And then you got Yaya Diaby and Joe Troyonka Shavinka. That's I don't know how I pronounce his name. I won't get it right, but you get what I'm talking about. Number 9. And then you got Levante David as well. And Antoine Winfield usually plays up in the box, and somehow they're one of the worst run defenses in the league, averaging over 5 yards per carry. And it's surprising. And then tonight you see them in third down situations, they got torched. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes did not have an incomplete pass on third down tonight, and he had 3 touchdowns as well. You got to play some man. You know, there's a couple times in the game where they're picking apart the zones on third downs, and it's like, all right, fine. But what bugs me so much is when you see teams do zone coverage or man coverage on 3rd and 4, and they play 7 yards off the ball. It's like, hey guys, do you know where the marker is? And we saw that a couple times from the Bucs tonight, and it seemed like there was just a miscommunication at the second level because Justin Watson found the zone, DeAndre Hopkins found the zone, Travis Kelce had 14 catches tonight. So there's obviously some lapse in assignment and what these guys think they're supposed to be doing opposed to what they're actually doing. And we don't know for sure until we watch the tape, but obviously you don't give up 14 catches to the tight end, which were, at least half of them over the middle if you got some holes in zone coverage. And when teams struggling like that and you've got a defensive-minded head coach, switch to man. This Kansas City team does not have a bunch of man beaters. DeAndre Hopkins, a great trade acquisition, looked amazing tonight. 8 catches, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns, an amazing catch on really I'm just going to throw it up there ball by Patrick Mahomes, which I'm sure he'll get glazed for, but really just great play by DeAndre Hopkins going up over 3 guys and snagging it. Xavier Worthy might be their only man beater on this team, and he consistently seems like he gets pressed out of bounds. So why not try to stick with these guys, especially in rainy, slippery conditions? The ball is most likely not going to be pinpointed on their outside shoulder. You have some wiggle room. So not sure I'm liking what Todd Bowles is doing. How long does he have as the head coach here? Because, they made it to the playoffs. They beat a wounded Eagles team. But do we see the future of this team with Todd Bowles? They're on a slide right now. We just saw the NFC South, rival, the Saints, ditch their coach, defensive head, Dennis Allen, who great defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles as well. But the thing is, if you're going to be a defensive-minded head coach, you need to execute that side of the ball at a top 5 level. At least top 10. The Bucs are nowhere near that right now. And the offense is where a lot of their injuries. I know on defense they're without Jamel Dean and the defense has Jamel Dean and Kalijah Cansey injured. But outside of that, you should be executing pretty well. So we'll see how much longer he's got. Moving on to the Chiefs. They just did what Chiefs do, man. They stay in the game and, they make the critical plays when you need to have them. And they wore down that Bucs defense, but you could tell by the hit overtime, that Bucs defense was winded. Vita Vea was sucking air, and they just pounded the ball down their throat. Drove all the way down the field, timely out routes, timely spots right over the center. And they were picking up 6-7 yards a chunk, and last play of the game, pounded it in from 2 yards out. This is where I don't understand why Todd Bowles decided to go into overtime against Patrick Mahomes. Have we not learned anything? Because you just had Baker Mayfield go down an incredible drive in the pouring rain. Guys making catches. Really not a bad play on the entire drive after They took what it felt like 5 minutes to figure out if the guy's foot was in bounds, which it's like, guys, what are we doing? Let's keep the game rolling. Troy Aikman said it. This is tough for the Bucs. You get the defense rolling. They're on their heels. How are you going to pick up all this momentum after you stop for 5 minutes? And it's true. It's a frustrating thing. Like, what are we doing? But the Bucs, don't let it faze them. They go down, get a touchdown with 20 seconds left. Something that also was a little bit odd to me is, the second they completed the ball, catch and run all the way down to the 1 yard line, they called a timeout right away with 33 seconds left on the clock, where you could have gotten down in a no huddle formation and run another 15 seconds. Another 15 seconds off the clock, and probably, even though the Chiefs' drive didn't amount to anything, probably could have felt better about maybe going for 2 and walking off the game, because this is the thing. Super Bowl, we saw it. Patrick Mahomes, they didn't care if San Fran scored a touchdown. They were going to go for 2 anyways. Why in Arrowhead would you give it your defense that's already winded in the rain the chance for Patrick Mahomes to go take the ball if they win the toss and walk off the game? You're giving the best player in the league an extra chance that he doesn't need. Ride or die. Like, what do you have to lose? 5-4, 4-5? At this point, does it really matter? Because you lost anyways. I just don't like the choice. You gotta think that through, because the Chiefs' defense has been great all year. Are you gonna go down 70 yards again and get a touchdown to make sure the Chiefs don't get the ball back in the elements? I doubt it. You've put up 24 points, but it's not like you've been killing them all game. So, questionable call by the Bucs and the Chiefs. They just did what they did. They hung in the game. I told my girlfriend through the second quarter, Bucs need to go up like 21-10, because if you leave the Chiefs in it, they will win. They find a way every single time, and they found a way tonight, winning in overtime, and they moved to 8-0. And now you look at the rest of their schedule, there's some cupcakes on there. They play the Bills, but outside of that, the Chargers, maybe their toughest game. So, does this team maybe lose one game? I'm sure they'll drop one eventually, but, there's not really anybody on their schedule that you're fearsome of. And, they haven't looked the best, but this team isn't a poor coach team like the Eagles were last year. This is Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones. You got a ton of veteran leadership and excellent coaching. It's not like you're going to get worse as the year goes. If anything, you're going to get better. So you started off 8-0. The ceiling is even higher. And you could lose 5 in a row and you still feel good about where you're at. Bucs, on the other hand, they're going to have to start stacking some wins. Atlanta 6-3, 4-0 in the division. You've already lost to them twice now. You've got to put it in high gear. And whether that's just doing your best to get healthier, which is kind of out of your control, or doing something at the trade deadline tomorrow, which should be an entertaining game or entertaining day for us football fans and really anybody on Twitter. It's Twitter's wet dream tomorrow with the election and the trade deadline. They're, I'm sure, ecstatic of all the traffic they're going to get. Probably going to pay a lot of people's salaries in one day of advertisements. Outside of that, you can't afford to keep dropping these close games. And, you're 4-5 after a really hot start where, I picked you to win the division. Felt good about it, too, after the first 6 weeks. You look damn good, and then injuries hit you real hard, but you still have Baker, who's not really built on athleticism, so each year that he spends further in the league, his mind is going to get more adapted to what he's seeing, and like Tom Brady said, your mind never really goes Ari in this game. If anything, you get smarter and smarter, and it becomes easier. It's your physical gifts that go off, that fall off the cliff. So Baker, he's athletic, but It's not like he plays like Lamar or Allen or Jaden Daniels. So he's going to get smarter and things are going to develop quicker for him in his brain, which is going to allow you to maybe not have to worry about going all in this year. You have some years to kind of reset. Vita Vea is getting a little older. Chris Godwin's free agent. Mike Evans free agent. But Kate Otten looks real nice. Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Tristan Wirfs. You just signed him to a long deal. You got some pieces on defense. Like I said, Tyke Smith, Antoine Winfield. Because Levante David, do you trade him? Try to get some capital. So, tough loss for the Bucs. That really hurts. Chiefs, they do what they do. Moving on to 8-0, and we're going to have to just plug along if you're Tampa Bay, and if you're a Chiefs fan, you're feeling real good right now. Because when are you going to lose? Bills would be the only game you feel pretty confident that could go either way. But, the Chargers probably put up a good fight. But, you fucking play the Panthers at one time this year. That's kind of what the rest of your schedule looks like, a cakewalk. So, I picked them to win the Super Bowl, and they're certainly looking like they're going to. That's it for tonight, guys. Monday Night Football recap. Week 9 is in the books, man. Already halfway through the season. It's crazy. 162 down, 162 to go. If you haven't checked it out already, go watch Drake May highlights. He's awesome. Been fantasizing about him all day. Obviously, Pat's fan here. Not getting enough attention. Everybody wants to kiss the toes of Patrick Mahomes for the left-handed throw out of bounds, but Drake May been doing it in each start. He's a beast. Capital B, capital East. So check that out, and then, yeah. Hope you guys have a great, safe day. Stay safe. It's election day. Try to stay away from the crazies. They're going to be out there trying to tell you to do one thing and when you don't want to. So just ignore them. Turn the other cheek and be the bigger person. But yeah, stay safe, guys. God bless. And like and subscribe. Have a great day.